I know.
You're
I know.
so
He's like,
He wants to be
wow.
part of the
He
show.
is.
He
He's
can be
like,
our
oh, I feel
mascot.
like his meows are like, wow.
I feel like he's like, Mom.
Yeah, that's what my friend Erin would say too. She'd be like, it sounds like he's saying, Mom.
Yeah.
Jesus. Guys, it's not an optical illusion. I'm not in black and white. I just had to shut the window because the under eye bags were bagging with the way that the light was hitting me, and it just wasn't something I wanted to look at for the entire recording. So, bow, 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 bow. All right. Are we doing the one?
I think we're doing it. I think
We're doing it.
this
Okay.
might offend some people. This might
Oh,
frustrate some people, but
yeah.
this is one of those situations where you're like, if this hits, you have some exploring to do as to why.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Like you're being hit with truth bombs, and if it upsets you, it's because deep down it's because you're doing that or not doing it, depending on what the situation is. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep. So episode 108.
Oh, I'm
I
so
know.
proud of you.
I know. I was waiting to pull that one out. So, episode 108. Here we go. We don't really have a title yet.
I'll figure it
out. Are you a yeah butter?
Yeah.
Are you a yeah butter?
Let's
So
explore.
you may be like, fuck does that mean, Mari?
Mm-hmm.
So this is something that we've talked a little bit about throughout our different episodes, and it's definitely something we talk about in, I don't want to say a lot of our sessions. I will say some sessions that we have, right? Because I'm not going to say all or most, because I know that Steph and I are phenomenal therapists and we have success. So, when you know what works for you and you've done the things and you've been like, okay, yeah, writing lists work, working out works, drinking water works, packing my lunches work, challenging my negative thoughts works, not hanging out with this person works, setting boundaries works. And then you don't do that. And we reflect on it in session and we're like, hey, we talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
You said that it was working for you. Why aren't we doing that anymore? Yeah, well, it's just not. Yeah, but what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm not even joking. I'm not fucking moving from that point. Yeah, but what?
Mm-hmm.
If it makes you feel better, if you are getting a reaction back from the things that you are doing, and it is a reaction you want to keep and explore more, why did you stop doing it?
Mm-hmm. Or on the flip side, the other aspect of this, if somebody is trying to suggest something or teach something to you and your initial response is, yeah, but that doesn't work for me, or yeah, but I tried it and I didn't really like, if you're just going to, yeah, but the response or suggestion every single time, what are you hoping to get out of that situation? And I'm not saying you have to accept every piece of advice any person fucking gives you at all.
No.
There'll be things that I suggest that you're like, yeah, I'm never doing that. Okay, don't. But if you're going to shoot down everything, what more can I do for you at this point?
And it is not, I don't give the same 3 suggestions.
Correct.
I would say over the span of working with somebody, bare minimum 50 suggestions. Bare minimum. Right? I mean, the DBT book that we use has a list of pleasant events of like coping skills that you can try. I send that to people all the time. That has like 75 things on it, I think.
Yeah,
like it's a stupid amount. So when I'm suggesting these things, I understand meditation doesn't work for me. I don't like it in the traditional sense of sitting down and trying to hone in and be still and all. I don't like that. I don't. That doesn't mean though that the other suggestions that I've given to people that I've tried don't work. Just means that that's not the one for me. But when I've ran down the list of like 14 things, I'm not sure what we're looking for then. Or especially when it's like, yeah, I don't really like that. Have you tried it? I did once a couple years ago what were the variables at play though once when you tried it a couple years ago? Like what is the difference between then and now? Because there's a lot of different things.
Sure.
If I look at where I was 10 years ago and the things that I'm doing now to take care of myself, those were foreign things to me.
Right.
In the sense of like consistently doing them or consistently showing up for myself. So you're a different person. So why, like every 7 years, all of your fucking cells regenerate. It's literally a brand new fucking body and shit. So I'm confused as to why when you tried something when you were 15, you're thinking it's not going to work now. And I think that goes back to the states of change talk session that we've had, and people saying, and people being like, yeah, but I don't know about that, or yeah, but that won't work for me. Then I don't think that you are in a change state. And there is a specific reason in every intake session that I have. At the end of the session, I make a differentiation between what is a support therapist and what is an action therapist. Those are my separations. There's not like classes of therapists out there. That is my separation of how I help people understand that support therapists to me are the people who are for that pre-contemplative state of change. I just kind of want to talk about all the shit that's going on. I kind of just want validation in that aspect. I don't really want actionable steps to move towards it or through it. Fine. That's necessary and needed in life. People don't have, and sometimes grow up without having people who hear them, who support them, feeling heard, feeling seen. That's what that therapist is for. Amazing. I am a change state therapist. I am an action therapist. I am going to give you tools, and I expect you to try them more than once.
Yes.
More than once. Because when I have the clients come back and they're like, well, I tried it, I didn't really like it. I'm like, nothing that we try once is, especially when it comes to working on ourselves, is going to take off. It's not. The only time that really happens is like with pizza and chocolate. Okay. You try it once and yeah, it works. Yes. Nothing else is going to hit that way. Like it's just.
I think something else that goes hand in hand with this, like, yeah, butter situation or I don't like it situation is like, but it's just so hard.
Yeah.
Right. Here's the thing. We all have our struggles every single day. Some may know about our struggles from talking on this. Some of you have no idea of some of the struggles that we have, but we get up each and every day and do it. Right. I have clients all over the map of like what they're struggling with. Right. And they do things each and every day to get themselves closer to where they want to be. If you are consistently telling yourself that it's going to be too hard, you're never going to do it. You're never going to move because you have already convinced your brain that it is too hard for you to achieve that.
If the only thing you are feeding yourself is it's so hard, it's going to suck, it's going to this, it's going to that. Like, I beg you to challenge yourself. Like, is it though? Is it? Because we're not coming here from the thought process of choose your hard. Like, and I also want to be very clear before I go into talking about what I want to talk about. When we're saying like, when we're giving these suggestions, it's not that we don't want you to listen to yourself. I want you to listen to that intuition, that gut feeling, and choose things and try things out and make differentiations between what works and what hasn't worked, right? Because what works for some person is like Steph meditates in bed. I don't. Yuck. I'll go back to bed. Like, I don't like, oh, thank you. I see more clients because I like being busy and active. And Steph is like, I know my limit. I know what I'm doing. Like there's no right or wrong. Listen to yourself. So I want to make that like that pinpoint right there. Like, we're not saying like, shut up, don't listen to yourself and listen to us because we know what we're telling you to do. So back to when people are like, it's hard. Yes. Yeah. Sometimes it is. Absolutely. But I come from that thought process of DBT, dialectics, teaching us two things that appear opposite can both be true at the same time. It is hard and I can change. Both.
It is hard and it's rewarding, right?
Yeah, it's hard and it's rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard and I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't, like, when I'm talking with clients, I just had a conversation with a client yesterday talking about like letting go of the past is hard. And I was like, being alone is hard. And I was like, is it? Is it hard or is it new? Is this something you haven't done before?
I had the exact same conversation with somebody last week. And I was like instead of telling yourself that I don't know how to be alone, you just say, this is a new situation. And I'm learning how to be alone, right? Like that sounds less scary and less like doom and gloom of like, I can't be alone. I don't like to be alone. You don't even know if you like to be alone. You have no idea.
You've been alone. You've been alone. You're telling me every second of your life, you've had somebody next to you, driving, going to the bathroom, showering, eating, every single moment of your life, you've had someone next to you. No, you've been alone. You've been alone. Now we're just removing a partner or somebody that you thought was a source of support. Here's the thing. That person was removed for a reason. You didn't just leave a happy, loving relationship. So instead of filling the void, like that's been done before, of just jumping into another relationship or eating or gambling or sex or drugs or, numbing out, whatever your vice you choose is to fill the void. What if we just try being alone and recognizing what it's like to get back in touch with ourselves? What do I like to do? I don't know. Here's the opportunity for you to try whatever the fuck you want to do.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be all of these things. Like, sure, if you've got the money, go out and experience things, please. But when I was learning to be alone after getting out of a relationship that I had been in for the better part of 10 years, what I did was the gym membership was $10 a month. So it was something that was super cheap and affordable. And I was like, well, I can do $10 a month and go for a walk. I would take Sophia to parks because that was free. And when I didn't have her and it was my weekend alone, I would leave my wallet in the car and I would go walk around Target because I didn't want to be home. And I wanted to just get out and do different things. And then eventually when it started working with my budget, I started going out to eat alone and trying that and seeing what that was like. I would start with breakfast and it would be pretty fucking early in the morning because I was like, well, in case I get embarrassed or feel some type of way, at least it's early in the morning. Then I took myself to lunch and started doing easier things. It got easier. It didn't go to breakfast and was like, this is the best. Instead of the waiting to find somebody to do those things with, I did it with myself.
Sure.
And then I learned that being alone really wasn't bad. It wasn't hard. All of these things that I told myself weren't fucking true. Oh, imagine that.
Yep.
See episodes, Cognitive Errors 1 and 2. I'm never going to be okay alone. It's never going to be the same. I'm never going to find happiness again. Whatever the cognitive distortion or error that you're telling yourself is. Challenge it.
I think from the therapist point of view, when we have people that are yeah-butters or that are actively what I would consider self-sabotaging by not doing the things that make them happy or feel better, we can get in our own head of like, what am I missing? Like, am I not doing enough? Like, it's very easy for me to do that. I don't do it as much as I used to, like when I was a baby therapist, because I took responsibility for fucking everything because I just thought that's what you did. But if I'm having my own sort of moment, it's easy for me to be like, I'm not doing enough for them, or I should be offering them more or whatever. And then I have to take a step back and be like, hold on, let me check the facts real quick. They're actively telling me they aren't doing the things. That's not on me. I can't take responsibility.
I don't live with you.
No, I can't drive to your house and hold your hand and make you do these things. Right. Like, you have to take responsibility for yourself and your mental health and your physical health and your well-being. I can't do that for you. I can be there to support you. And I can be there to tell you, I think you're actively self-sabotaging right now by not doing these things. And you may or may not want to hear that, but that's the truth.
I'm trying to keep it so polite. And not polite, but like not like there's just moments where I want to shake people. And not in a like, oh, you're so frustrating type of way, but like in a, I'm on the outside and I can see that if you just take the step, if you just try, show up for a month, I know almost without a doubt in my mind that you will feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the part that like I get so uppity about, of like, I know this can change. Mm-hmm. I've seen it. I've seen it with myself. I've seen it with my friends. I've seen it with fucking hundreds of clients. Mm-hmm. I've seen it with just the general population. Not everybody is struggling with something.
Sure.
That is no, I didn't mean that. Everyone is struggling with something, but everyone isn't allowing that something that they struggle with to completely engulf them.
Consume them.
They're saying, you know what? I recognize this. This is hard. This is something that I'm going through. What can I control? Instead of just focusing on that, because that's a situation, maybe it's medical, maybe it's relationship, maybe it's family, whatever that it is, that's something I can't control right now. And if all I do is focus on that, I'm going to fucking spiral. So what is within my control right now? And that, my friends, is not ignoring the problem, is not ignoring what is going on over there. It's saying, I acknowledge that. And radical acceptance means that I can't change that in this exact moment. So what can I do now to make myself feel better?
Yep.
And I think a lot of the times I get some clients that are like, okay, but what are the steps? What do I do? And I'm like, everything we've ever talked about. There isn't, there's no new magic thing on the market. This isn't the fucking diet and beauty industry where it's like, there's this new tea. Yeah. Okay. Well, but what they don't tell you in the commercials, you're going to shit yourself for fucking 14 days. And that's why you're dehydrated. That's why you lost 10 pounds. You're peeing out of your butt.
You need to be sitting on the toilet for the next 2 weeks without moving ever.
Yeah. Hopefully you got enough PTO, because Jesus, you're going to need to be home. Like, what? I mean, and people are like, oh my God, well, they lost all this weight. Yeah, because their organs prolapsed. Fell the fuck out of their body. Now they don't have a spleen. What the fuck?
Oh my God.
Man, if we were good at editing, I would, on the video, they have the like, I will remember, and they have like a picture of a spleen, like RIP 2023. Anyways. Sorry, I was coughing and laughing at the same time.
That's okay.
I feel like what was that? Anyways. But like, what? I forgot my fucking point.
There's no like steps.
Yeah,
no new steps.
Yeah, there's no new steps. It's the way that you're fucking talking to yourself. The way that you're talking to yourself, and then relying on other people's validation or other people's beliefs or opinions or thoughts about you. And if you're just gobbling that shit up, yeah, you're not going to like yourself. You're going to constantly be in a state of wanting, because you're constantly going to think that I don't have enough, I'm not doing enough, blah, 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 whatever that it is. It's nothing new. The way that you speak to yourself and your perception about situations is where the work needs to be. I don't know. I might try to learn that sentence in all the different languages in hopes that I can say it a different way. It's still the content isn't changing. It is going to be like, if you know that going for a walk, meal prepping, reflecting on your day, writing gratitudes, acknowledging, being in the moment and really acknowledging like, hey, I'm with my friends. God, I really love this moment. This is really awesome. Acknowledging that your timing is working out for the day, feeling really good about being productive, whatever that it is. But then you're coming home and you're just spiraling in your thoughts. You're just spiraling in like, you know what? I didn't do this today. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, I should have done that. And I could have, and I didn't do it at this time. And that I'm a shitty person and blah, blah, blah. And just spiraling, and you're doing nothing. You just do that for 4 hours. I don't have a magic pill to stop that. That is thought work.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, you and I have been talking about this, but like this full moon, it's like a super moon this weekend, I think. Okay, it's been wringing me out like a rag. Like I don't even know how else to describe it, right? Like it's whatever.
You're the frog in boiling water, right? You put a frog in water and then you just start it on low, and we're at the boiling point. You are actively being boiled alive.
But I had a moment yesterday and I was proud of myself because I had like a grief moment about my cousin. And if his death would have happened 5 years ago, I think I still would be like consumed by sadness and like anger and frustration, right? Where I had a moment yesterday and I was like feeling angry and feeling frustrated and just going through it. But I was like, this does nothing for me. It's not going to bring him back. It's not going to change what happened. It's not going to change the relationship that we had or didn't have. Like, it fucking is what it is. And I allowed myself to feel it for probably like 30 minutes. And then I was like, moving on, right? Because I see what it does to other people in my family to hold on to that shit. They're like deteriorating because they just are allowing it to feel unfair, to feel sad. And like, yeah, it's still sad. It still fucking sucks. But like, I'm not going to like kill myself because of the choices somebody else made. I refuse.
And I think there's a difference too about when you're surrounding yourself with healthy relationships.
Correct.
And you get the support and validation you need. When you message me some of those things, I immediately take a step back and I'm like, you don't need to fix this. How can you show up and how can you sit next to her? What does that look like? So a lot of the times it's just acknowledging what you're going through, acknowledging probably the thoughts that you're telling yourself in your head of like, I'm so sorry. I know that the hope is for a different way. And then the reality is what you knew of like, I totally get that. There is such a difference when you are surrounded by people who are in the vulnerability with you and facilitating that with you, because then I also know that it gives you that boost of strength to help you get out of those moments. How many times have you sat with me when I've been in these spirals about fucking relationships that I thought were going to be fucking great for me? And I was like, and you were like, I know that. I can see that. And also, you deserve better. And here's why. Here's some facts. Here's some things that we've pointed out. Here's what you said when you were leaving your old relationship or your marriage. And here's kind of the similarities I'm seeing now. And I'll validate all day long that you're upset and maybe that you want it to work and blah, 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 whatever that it is. When you're surrounded by somebody who's willing to sit there with you, let you have a moment to be like, okay, it is wild how that next step is like that reflection of, what is this doing for me?
If you would have met me with like equal amounts of anger, I would have sat in it, right?
Yeah.
Like I would have, it's like when you're pissed off about something and you want to tell your best friend, they're like, fuck that bitch. Like, and you get all hyped, right? Like you get all hyped and you like want to stay angry. Like, yeah, that's how all of my relationships were my whole life. And so there wasn't an opportunity for growth because I just continue with that behavior. But Mari's right. Like being met with compassion and empathy of like, I can't imagine how that feels. And I'm really sorry. That's really fucking like that fucking sucks. Like sometimes that's all somebody needs to hear versus meeting them with that same energy. Don't get me wrong. There are times that like, I want you to meet me with that energy. Right.
I do.
We're having a petty party right now. So I need you to bring it. Okay. I need you to bring it to me.
Yep. And I do. I serve every time on a silver platter of like.
She really does. She's the fucking best.
and Steph knows too, if it is a one-word response or if it is an emoji, I don't have my phone by me and I'm just trying to validate through my watch. But then I'll come back to it and I'll be like, oh, capital letters. like we know that. So please know if I'm in the middle of something and it's like a one word, whatever, I'm not being dry. I'm coming. I'm letting you know that I see you. I see you.
But this all like, again, and we talked about this last week. We talked about it till we were fucking blue in the face of like, listen to how you are talking to yourself about situations, no matter how big or how small, it doesn't matter. Like listen to the words you are saying to yourself. And again, if you wouldn't say them to your fucking child, why are you saying them to you? If you wouldn't say it to your best friend, your sister, your mom, your grandma, whomever, don't say it to yourself. You're not helping yourself at all.
And I think that the people are like, well, how do I get out of it? I think there has to be that point. And I'll just say from experience, there is that point where it's like, shut the fuck up.
Yes. You get sick of your own shit.
I've had those moments with myself, and it is not in a way of like, I don't fucking like myself. I don't whatever. Like, here's the thing. I think there's in my mind for myself, I have a balance. I don't call myself names. I don't call myself stupid, idiot, bad mom. You know, you're so fucking fat, blah, blah. I don't do shit like that. It feels fucking gross to me to even think about doing shit like that. But there are moments where I'm like, shut the fuck up. Get up now. You're being ridiculous. Because I am. Last week we fucking recorded, right? We got done at 4. I said I was going to cut the grass. Ask me what time I cut the grass.
6 p.m.
6:28. 6:28. 2 hours and 28 minutes. 148 minutes I was on my phone. Doing what? Nothing. I got a day off. I ran some errands and stuff, but I'm like, oh, you had to go get a haircut. Like, I didn't have to go grocery shopping for a fucking house of 14. Like, the errands didn't exhaust me. We recorded. Oh, like, you got to sit with your best friend. Like, shut up. And then I'm thinking, like, Jeff worked his ass off. He's worked over 50 hours this week, and he hates cutting the grass. And I have fucking time, and I don't give a shit. Cutting the grass it's a neutral point for me. I don't fucking care. Doesn't matter to me. I lived alone for however many years and cut the grass myself. I don't think Adam ever fucking cut the grass. So I was always cutting the grass. That was my chore when I was a kid because Tara never cut the grass. So I was the grass cutter of the family. Like, it's a neutral thing. Yeah. So I was like, you could do this for him. This would be a nice thing. He doesn't have to do it. When I tell you, I slammed my phone down, and Soph was like, what are you doing? And I like stomped around the corner, and I was like, I was supposed to cut the grass 2.5 hours ago, and I haven't, and that's ridiculous. And she was like, at least you're doing it now. And I was like, thank you. I'll see you in 15 minutes. And it sure was 18 minutes. So sometimes there needs to be that just shut the fuck up. Get up.
Because the amount of time you're taking to talk shit to yourself, your shit could have been done.
Over with. I could have cut the grass 17 times.
And edged it with scissors.
And I absolutely will never edge. That's what, let me say this, guys. Okay, too. I wasn't edging. I wasn't weed whacking either. I'm literally just cutting the grass. Jeff will do the edging and weed whacking because I fucking hate it and I refuse. Yeah. I was like, I'll do all the fucking chores. But, well, not even that. If you want to edge. It's not important to me. Sure. So same. If that's something that you want, then you do it. I'm not doing it. Don't ask me to help you either. I'm not doing it.
That was like when you painted my apartment, you said, I'll do it, but it's not going to look nice. So you could accept that it's not going to look neat, or somebody else can do it.
Yeah. I'll be here all fucking day with you. I will move shit. I will do all those.
You did all the things.
Do not expect me to be like Tetrising shit. Don't expect me to be like, I'm not going to be sloppy, but I'm not a perfectionist. So yes, if it's done, it's good enough for me.
I know. And it was for me too.
All your shit got moved to your house. Good enough.
It sure did. It sure did.
With that fucking back gate being open, but no, we didn't lose anything.
I said I lose my couch.
No, it was the wood dresser.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, it was like that thing behind you. That your TV, like yeah, because you were like,
that right out.
Yeah, because you were like either that's like an antique or it was my grandmother's or something like that, and I was like, well. We didn't do a pre-trip inspection. Sure did every time after that, though. Yes, but that's how I learned. That's how I learned.
Yep.
So I'll never forget that too, because we were like, what does this bitch want? Like waving at us and shit. And she was like, the back gate's open. And we were like, oh, fuck.
What a day that was.
Oh God. Well, who moves in January?
But like, honestly, we couldn't have had a better day. It was like 55 degrees in January with no snow. And I was like, the heavens have called and they have said, here you go. You're welcome.
The universe said, you know what?
Yes.
I see you moving on your path that you're supposed to be on. Let me reward you.
Let me make this easier for you. Yes.
It's like a reward. Anyways. This was a bit all over the place. I think there's concise moments of, are you selling yourself short by telling yourself that, yeah, but that doesn't work for me. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, I can't do this. Yeah, whatever that it is. Butter. Or are you just self-sabotaging by being awful to yourself in your head? Or even maybe it's not even that you're being awful to yourself. Maybe there's not awful self-talk, but are you drowning in your spiraling thoughts about what ifs? That's still challenging the way that you speak to yourself. You're still speaking to yourself. So speaking to yourself does not need to mean this like you're fucking terrible to yourself. It means that you're not being present. If you are in your head just constantly thinking about 42 different million things, you're not being present. Nothing's going to get accomplished if we're not present, because you don't know how you're feeling. And if you don't know how you're feeling, you don't need to know. You don't know then what you need to do to start feeling better.
Yep.
Get some of that shit out of your head. And even if it goes for people with ADHD and the racing thoughts are literally just like, is SeaWorld still a thing? Are the orcas free? I love the color purple. Like,
why did I have a dream about a captive orca last night? It was fucking
the
weird.
Place in Miami, like the orca just died because the tank conditions were terrible, and now his partner, this dolphin, is just rotting away in these. I literally think I'm so upset with aquariums and zoos. I don't care. I don't care if you're trying to conserve but no, you're not. No, you're not. Give the money to the fucking sanctuaries where everybody has a chance to roam free. That's conservation.
I don't think that there's ever a time where an orca needs to be in captivity.
They're
gigantic. They're like
and
35
they're
feet long.
They're geniuses.
And they will fuck you up, justifiably so.
Tillicum had
oh God, I can't.
That was.
If you guys haven't watched Blackfish, do it. It's going to ruin your life. It's terrible.
It will literally ruin your fucking life. I will never forget. Jeff came home and was like, was it Jeff? How long ago did that come out?
We were still at Rogers for sure. I want to say like 2016, 20. It's older.
I feel like we were in Soap's old room. Maybe I was still married, because I feel like someone came home and I was like, I'm not okay. Like I was distraught. Like,
I think I watched it when it was at Rogers, because I remember talking to Lainey about it.
I was sobbing.
Yeah,
sobbing.
It's terrible.
Oh, it's too much. It's too much.
Yeah.
Did you see the reel on Instagram of the circus bear that finally got to play in water? A blind circus bear?
What?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That was pretty fucking
Circuses
awful.
fuck me up real bad. Like when them elephants go ham, I don't even care. They deserved it. Like, they're abused.
They're also like, geniuses.
Really abused.
I
don't think people deserve to die, but like
no, I don't want anyone to die. I want people to get scared. like so that they don't do that anymore.
Correct.
Yeah. It was a circus bear, a blind circus bear, and it was like, and I was like, oh God, it was too much. It's too much. I can't let the animals be free. Freedom. I'm telling you right now, I already got my plan. I win the lottery. Huh. People are gonna be like, are you gonna like pay off your friend's debt and houses? No, fuck y'all. No. Ocean conservation, free the orcas, and destroy zoos. All of it. I'm gonna sit down with my accountant and be like, I can't say this because this is gonna. How can we ruin zoos? Do you know what I mean?
I do.
How can we ruin the zoo? Yeah, that's what I'm putting all my money into. I'll pay my house off, obviously, but
obviously.
Ocean conservation, the zoos, aquariums, done. And then I'll be like, I'll give you, for the people who like own the things, I'll give you $10,000 if you get in that tank. Just dip your feet in. See what happens. Just go sit in the enclosure. What's the worst that could happen? It's so relaxing for them, right? Get in. Dare ya. Anyways, I could talk about that shit forever because it upsets me. I feel like we wrapped that up.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Stop being mean to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the way that you speak to yourself.
And be open-minded when it comes to trying things or
Be
doing things
open-minded,
that you
yes.
know work
Yeah.
for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're going into therapy and you're better, come with evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I tried journaling for 2 weeks. I tried meditation for 2 weeks. Here are my notes on it.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Sure.
Beautiful. I'm going to give you so much validation and praise. Oh my God. I'm going to be like, I am so proud of you. Way to figure that out. Come with evidence. Come with receipt. You can find us at Rewriting Her Story Podcast on Instagram. You can find Steph at The Spooky Therapist. You can find me at BEA_XO11. You can email us any questions, concerns, comments, especially if it's about the orcas, at rewritingherstorypodcast@gmail.com. And you can watch us get amped up on YouTube at Rewriting Her Story Podcast. Until next time, guys. Bye.